Okay, this is Mr. Hayashi here with Algebra 4.1, writing linear equations in slope-intercept form. So the first thing that you need to remember is what slope-intercept form is. That's from Chapter 3, and then specifically 3.5. Slope-intercept form looks like this. Y is equal to mx plus b, where m is the slope, and then b is the y-intercept of the equation. So to be able to write an equation in slope-intercept form, you really need two things. You need the slope, or m. Sometimes that's given. Sometimes you need to find it. And the y-intercept, or b. And then the same thing as well. Sometimes that's given. Sometimes you need to find that. But as soon as you have those two things, the slope and the y-intercept, then you could write the equation. You might need to, at some point, like plug in a number for x or plug in a number for y. But once you write your final equation in slope-intercept form, the only numbers that you'll plug in or put into the equation are the slope, m, and the y-intercept, b. So there's kind of a few different tiers or a few different levels of problems. If you're trying to write an equation in slope-intercept form, so looking at the examples here, in my opinion, the easiest thing that you could be given is the slope and the y-intercept, because those are the two things that you need to be able to write the equation. Once you have those two things, then you could write the equation. So example 1, I want to write an equation on a line. If the slope is 3/2 and then the y-intercept is 5. So the slope, 3/2, that's m. The y-intercept, 5, that's b. I could plug those directly into y is equal to mx plus b to write the equation. And the equation looks like this. Y is equal to 3/2 x. Don't forget about the x. That's a common mistake that people make. And the y-intercept is 5. That's positive. So plus 5. This is your equation. Because what you did before is looked at an equation in slope-intercept form, figured out the slope. In this case, it's 3/2. And then the y-intercept is 5. It's just kind of working backwards here. But you should be going through like a little checklist in your head and seeing if you have the slope, if you have the y-intercept. If you don't, you need to find either one or both of those things. And then once you have both of those things, you could write the equation. Kind of the same on number 2 as well. Maybe pause the video real quick, see if you can write the equation, and then check it once I go over it right now. So the slope, -3, that's m. Y-intercept, 0, that's b. Then you can plug those into y equals mx plus b. So your equation should be y equals -3x. You could also write it as -3/1x plus 0. So you actually don't have to write that. If I write -3x plus 0, that works. This is fine as well. Just y equals -3x. Either are okay. And then on the last example, again, maybe pause. The slope is 6. That's m. The y-intercept, -8. That's b. So your equation should be y equals 6x minus 8. If you wrote plus -8, that's fine. And again, you could write it as 6/1x. Not like this, so don't hear me incorrectly. It could look like this, 6/1x, and it's y equals 6/1x minus 8. It's not like this, so y equals 6/1x. That would be incorrect, and then minus 8. So even though I said 6/1x, it should look like this.